Oh, Manny's not here.
Not yet.
Was Maddie supposed to be praying again?
That's what he said.
Yeah, he's volunteered to do a few.
Looks like it's going to be you, Mr. Elam.
All right, I'll be quick.
And I hate it if we
Oh my God.
started and he walks in.
I'm playing.
Let's go.
And it is.
Playing down at Cape tomorrow. All right, folks, I'd like to welcome you to the Monday, June 12th, St. Charles County Council meeting. We will begin the meeting with an invocation given by Mike Elam, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mike Elam. Please stand.
Wow, it's all Mike.
Yes,
That's horrible.
pretty important guy.
We got to find a better way to start these meetings. Let's pray. Father God, we just pause for a few minutes before you just to ask to declare this meeting to your wisdom, your grace, and to your victory. And just pray that whatever happens here will be to your glory and that we will continue to do things that lead us down a path that sets the bar for others. Help us to continue to be mindful of how we act, to be respectful to one another, to be able to hear other opinions, use wisdom and discernment as we go about this meeting. We thank you for the blessings that you give upon our nation. We thank you for those in law enforcement, and first responders who risk their lives for us every day. And we just pray a special blessing upon them and their families. We thank you for the blessings that you give us now, and we declare this meeting a success under your glory. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Swanson.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel. Councilman Elam.
here.
Councilman Hollander.
Here.
Councilman Hammond.
Here.
Councilwoman Schneider. Here. Councilman Baker.
Here.
Okay. We will begin tonight with a conditional use permit, bill number 5191. Mr. Myers, please come up and
Let me read
get
that.
sworn in.
Bill number 5191, requested by Mike Hurlbert, sponsored by Matt Swanson. An ordinance granting conditional use permit, CUP 22-07, for a rural recreational activity to Jacob Meschling and Gwen Meschling, property owners, and Highlander Farm LLC applicant.
Robert, do you solemnly swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Hi, my name is Robert Myers. I'm the Planning and Zoning Division Director for St. Charles County. This application is for a conditional use permit for a rural recreational activity. The property is zoned agricultural. It's a little over 5 acres, and it's on Mexico Road. And the specific proposal for the rural recreational activity would be operate a farm day camp for up to 100 children for 2 months annually and provide some other recreational or educational activities for 3 months annually. And activities would take place outdoors. The improvements that are proposed are temporary, meaning that seasonally the applicants would erect a tent 20 by 40 feet in size, would erect porta potties, hand washing stations, and those would be the improvements that would be seasonal. The activities are proposed to be held outdoors. The parcel involved is relatively narrow and deep, and unlike some of the other rural recreational activities we reviewed before, the context is more suburban. There are subdivisions right to the west and also to the south. In fact, the nearest homes in this case, about 40 feet to the west, there's a house. About 25 feet to the east, there's another house. And so the context is a little different than what we've seen before for rural recreational activities. The applicants propose to address land use impacts by maintaining business hours during the daylight, also having set times for pickup and drop off of children. They have a circular drive, a one-way circular drive that's about 140 feet deep off of Mexico Road. And also they are proposing to install a landscaped visual buffer on the east and the west between the houses. And in those ways, they're proposing to address land use impacts. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on May 17th. They held a public hearing, and after closing the public hearing, they voted 1 in favor and 7 against this application. And what you have before you is a bill. Although they voted against, we wanted to offer you the opportunity to potentially to approve with conditions if you like. And so there's some drafted conditions in the bill, but obviously that's a starting point. You can, your options are to approve without conditions, approve with conditions, or deny the application. Should you wish to deny the application, it would require a 2/3 affirmative votes to overturn the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation.
Any questions for Mr. Myers? Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'm out of breath from
Okay.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Is there an applicant here for the CUP? Okay, seeing none. Does anyone else add any questions? Mr. Baker, can you fill us in just a little bit here? You were at the Planning and Zoning.
Yeah, at the planning and zoning, we had a lot of questions, but the applicant didn't show up then, so I think that was the big reason why it wasn't important to them, so I guess it wasn't important to us.
Okay, all right.
I was going to say, I'm very familiar with this area and where it's at. They've been in operation for numerous years. I was hoping the applicant would be here tonight. They have not reached out to me whatsoever.
Well, okay. All right. All right, well, again, we wouldn't be voting on it tonight anyway, is that correct?
We have a public hearing.
But we do have public hearing. Is there anyone here that is here to speak on this particular issue?
Arnie Dienoff.
Mr. Dienoff.
I will need to swear you in.
Oh,
This way.
that's right.
Do you solemnly swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council. My name is Arnie A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate. Sorry I lost my voice, trying to get it back. I did not attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, but I have reviewed the meeting video, and there are a lot of concerns on the table. And so first off, since the developer or the applicant is not present, I would ask for an immediate table of the County Council to give the applicant ample time to appear before the County Council either at the last meeting in June or the first meeting in July. But it really sends a loud message that if somebody is willing to pay several hundreds of dollars to file an application before the Planning and Zoning Commission for a conditional use permit, that they would have their heart in it and they would have a vision and some type of comprehensive plan of how they want to proceed. By them not attending either the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting or the County Council sends a really loud message to me that they really don't care about the process and they don't want to be involved in the process. And so I would ask that you table and give the applicant one additional time to appear before the County Council, to testify, appear, and to argue his case. Now, it's in an urban setting with numerous neighborhoods that adjoin this property. And my question to the County Council is our county sex offender list. I did just a quick look of that immediate area, and there are some concerns that popped up. As we all know, this is a conditional use permit for a camp with youth. And so having a sex offender list within a certain proximity of this property is very concerning. And so I want to bring that to the attention of the County Council. As Robert said, the Director of Planning and Zoning, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted by 1 yes and 7 nay. That also sends a clear message to the County Council, which triggers our county home rule charter of 3/4 majority super vote to supersede the recommendation and reverse the recommendation of our citizen county and planning and zoning commission. There's tons of questions that I have in terms of health, in terms of trash pickup, restroom facilities, ample kitchen or cleaning facilities for lunch, those type of items that would fall under our Department of Public Health and the Environment. Some of the conditions and recommendations to staff are the conditional use permit is limited to a farm camp. Operation of the farm camp shall be limited to the months of June and July inclusive. The hours of operation shall be limited 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Outdoor sound amplification shall be prohibited. Existing driveway entrances shall be improved to comply with county department requirements. But as I said, there's a lot of questions that are open-ended. I'm sure you have a ton of questions in terms of health, safety, and welfare. So I would ask that this council table until the last meeting in June or the first meeting in July. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Final speaker.
What's it? No more speakers?
Right.
Okay. All right. Any other comments before we move on? All right. Seeing none, we move on to public comments. Just a reminder that those that are going to speak, you will be limited to 3 minutes, and we would ask you please to fill out a speaker's card, and that we will limit to any topic 3 for, and 3 against. I don't think we'll have that situation tonight, but Claire, give us our first speaker.
Arnie Dienoff.
Mr. Dienoff.
Thank you once again, Mr. Chairman, members of council. My name is Arnie A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate. The first thing on your agenda is a ordinance accepting a block grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for our county airport. And it looks to purport $59,000. And this has to do with ARPA funds, the ARPA Act. And this is exactly why our country is in debt, is because of grants like this. As you all know, our airport floods about every 4 to 5 years. We lose everything in our airport, and we have to rebuild and re-renovate from scratch. So for us to accept another $59,000 grant, exactly what it purports to do and what the parameters are, I'm not exactly sure what its intent is, but it meets the American Rescue Plan Act grant agreement. But this is why our nation is in debt, is because we keep having our hands out like Democrats, wanting grant after grant after grant, pay out, bail out, pay out, bail out. So to all county residents, I want to make sure that you watch KMOV News Channel 4 tonight for the reasons why our former prosecuting attorney, Tim Lemire, resigned from public office, just months after being elected to a 4-year term of office. I ask that everybody turn in at 10 o'clock p.m. as those facts will be revealed by our reporter. This renews my request for a county audit, for our county auditor, Brent Statler, to audit from top to bottom our county prosecuting attorney's office and give Mr. McCullough a clean slate. There are questions, and the county auditor works and is appointed directly by this county council. The county executive, Steve Ellman, you've lost the touch of what the office is all about and are merely a $185,000 figurehead. You and the 4 people around you all account for well over $850,000 in salaries and pension, while you pay political games, hiding our information, hiding secrets, acting as a country club society, spending $250,000 on 2 lobbyists with no to little return on investment. This is pathetic and non-transparent government with our money, while you 4 get rich and wealthy off of us. And at the last meeting, I had asked you, Mr. Ellman, and my advocate, Mr. Swanson, for to have the recap of Mike Gibbons and Tom Dempsey, our $250,000 lobbyists. And I get a response from the county that that document doesn't exist. That's hogwash. That's bullpucky. And so I once again renew to Mr. Swanson that you release
Time
my
is up.
email
Thank you,
of
Mr.
our
Dino.
recap of our lobbyists.
Thank you, Mr. Neal.
Thank you.
Claire, next speaker, please.
Rachel Homelack.
Are there picture books in your libraries? I asked Jason Kuhl, the CEO of the St. Charles City County Libraries during our phone conversation on May 22nd. He responded, "Of course." I proceeded to ask if these books are capable of portraying a storyline, a plot, even a moral, although they lack words, a prominent form of communication. Of course, he responded, "Yes." "Okay, Jason, so you agree that visual communication can be achieved and sometimes more effective even without words?" He had no further comments. I stand before you tonight wearing a replica of the outfit that the librarian in drag dons regularly at the Catherine Linneman branch. This consists of extreme gaudy makeup with facial hair, large female jewelry, painted nails in bizarre colors, a corset over a sweater vest and dress that opens up around the crotch area, bringing attention to the crotch. I reiterate, this is what he wears. Fishnets, stilettos. This is a man. This is not appropriate in front of our children. I'm sorry, okay, I'm gonna step back and apologize. Actually, this outfit is inaccurate. He wears leather. I don't wear animals, and I also don't wear 4-inch stiletto boots, but I guess my 2-inch heels will have to suffice for tonight. This is not acceptable in public, let alone in the children's section of a public library. And this is just the start. If we don't nip this in the bud now, imagine how far these extremists are going to push the envelope. This librarian in drag is just testing the waters. Jason Cool is just testing the waters. They want to see how much they can get away with. And then they will do it again, and again, and again, and again. Are you going to allow this to continue? Are you okay with people pushing sexual expression, not only on adults, but planting it right where the children are? There's nothing wrong or illegal with establishing a public standard dress. This is not difficult. It does not matter how many departments encompass St. Charles County. You simply make the dress code department specific. Do not let these people run the roost. Now, if you'll excuse me, I would really like to take my children to the library again. Thank you.
Claire? Next speaker, please. Thank you.
Terry Etherton.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Etherton. I am a concerned citizen of St. Charles County, and I am tired of paying taxes for institutions that are on a mission to indoctrinate our children. My family chooses not to use public school system anymore or the library system anymore because of harmful effects it poses on my children. The books are smut, and the curriculum is an inaccurate representation of reality. The LGBTQ population in this country is a very small percentage, but the new children's books in our libraries are overwhelmingly woke. I was also wondering if a male wearing a miniskirt and fishnet stockings is okay with the dress code in the St. Charles County Library system. The code states that all clothes worn at work should be work appropriate. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any men wearing miniskirts and fishnet stockings in any job that I've ever been in. This dress code leaves a lot of wiggle room as well. It leaves up to the discretion of the supervisor to make a decision on what is appropriate and what is not. Also, I can't find any financial reports, salary information, or policies pertaining to the library district on their website. This should be public knowledge. What also should be public knowledge is why Jason Cool left the Arlington Heights Library. He supposedly left for personal reasons, but unlike anyone else who has left a job of their own accord, he was given a severance package well over $75,000. So, was his exit due to a controversial DEI program? Most likely. And was his resignation due to personal reasons, or was it a forced resignation due to personal beliefs that don't align with most residents of the city he was working in? Also, what kind of interview process was done to this man before he was made the director, CEO of the St. Charles County Library System? I found all this information out in a few minutes looking online. If anybody would have done their job, they could have figured out that this guy was not the right fit for St. Charles County, a highly conservative county in Missouri. Thank you.
Sir.
Colleen Etherton.
Hi, my name is Colleen Etherton. Public speaking terrifies me, but I'm up here this evening because I appreciate Rachel's courage and commitment in this matter, and I'm doing this to show her that she's not alone in this fight. I'm also doing this for my children, your children or grandchildren, children of faith, and children that are being taught by libraries and schools that they are not good enough for their own God-given skin or body, that God doesn't exist, and that they would be better off by changing their identities. My first job was working at the MK Library for 5 years. It was an amazing experience and nothing like it is today. Quickly, I'd like to share a personal experience I had a few years ago. I used to take my kids on a weekly visit to the local library. We loved playing and searching for new stories and, of course, movies. One visit, our last visit, was when my then 5-year-old daughter picked out several books, one about a mermaid. That night, we snuggled into bed and began reading what seemed to be a cute book about a mermaid. After several pages, I saw, before reading the words out loud, what this book was really about. It was about a little girl who was living in a boy's body. I immediately shut the book and asked her what else we could read. My daughter was understandably upset, and I didn't understand why I wasn't finished reading the book to her. This is not acceptable. There wasn't anything on the book warning me about the book's content. It was out with the other picture books. If people want these books, they can find them on Amazon. Why do we need them at a public library that taxpayers fund? Discontinuing these books, however, might be a little hard since the library employee, Ashley Runyon, who orders the children's library material, has non-binary kids. So I'm thinking personal beliefs play a big part in what comes into the library. Just saying. Thank you.
Vanessa Hodgdorn.
Good evening. Do we have a tall girl microphone around? Can you start the clock over, please? Thank you. Good evening. My name is Vanessa. I'm a former elementary school teacher, child advocate, and mother of 3 beautiful children, 2 of which are here. There is nothing I won't do for my children. It is my duty as a parent to protect them and educate them. And this includes protecting them from confusion. Confusion is a form of abuse that psychologically assaults a child's mind. Having a man dressed as a woman working in the public library's children's section is harmful and confusing. It is abusive for children to expose them to something they're unable to comprehend. I truly cannot imagine the pain and confusion this individual must be feeling. My heart goes out to him, and there is absolutely no hate in my heart towards him. Just the opposite, actually. And since public libraries serve the general public, we need to be able to have discussions about these things without being feared of being labeled hateful for having a differing opinion. It is our job as parents to not place children in positions that cause them confusion. If an adult practices a drag way of presenting themselves, that is their business. But when this expression is brought into a public space where my children are influenced, then it becomes my business. There are many St. Charles County families who do not want to expose young children to things that go against their beliefs and values. There is nothing wrong with our public library establishing a neutral dress code. The library states under its values that it's a space for all. If that's the case, there should be no issue implementing a neutral dress code so all people can access the library their tax dollars pay for. As a lifelong lover of the library, and now instilling that love into my children, we don't attend the library to find out someone's sexual identity or preference. It is a library. We go there to check out books. The library is not a place for sexual expression. Sexually expressing yourself in front of children is not appropriate. Children's safety should never be compromised because of a grown man's feelings. Again, children's safety should never be compromised because of a grown man's feelings. Thank you for your time.
All right, I believe that concludes public comments. Next on the agenda is an oral report from the county executive.
Mr. Chairman, I really had no report, but I think I should probably clarify some things
Sure.
given the speakers. And of course, as you all know, our role, both mine and yours, is to appoint 5 of the 9 people on the library district board. And we have done that over the years. As far as I know, this is the first complaints that we've heard. But I just want people to understand that everything that the library board does after we appoint them is up to them. They are an independent political subdivision. And yes, we do have some supervision, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion the next time an appointment comes up. But there's no way for us to require them to do anything in particular. They're an independent political subdivision, just like Duckett Creek, just like, and then that's another case. We get to appoint the members of the board, but once we appoint them, they're independent, and they're the ones who make their policies, their personnel policies. They're the ones who hire the people at the library. They're the ones who hire the administrators. So I would encourage you, we're glad to hear your opinion, but the people you need to make sure that you express those opinions to is the library board. Because in the long term, we may have some input, but right now, there's really not much we can do. And with regard to the other question about our success or lack thereof at the General Assembly, usually we wait until July to see what the governor has actually signed. But since Vicki, my assistant, is going to be leaving on July 1st, she's going to make the presentation at the next meeting. I think you're going to find that we had a very good year in Jefferson City, but I'll let you draw your own conclusions after you hear that. Thank you.
Yes, Nancy?
I just wanted to point out that I agree with what Mr. Elman said. I was on the library board for a long time before I became a judge, and I'm shocked about this situation as well. The library board meeting, I think, is on June 20th at the Spencer Creek Library in room 1 or A, and what time is that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. So I'm not sure to what extent. I think there'll be some public comment there, but I would certainly invite everyone to appear there. I'm going to try and go myself if I can. I don't know about my schedule, but I understand how you feel.
All right.
I have a quick question, too.
Yes, sure.
Do we provide any funding to the library district? Okay, good.
No, we collect their taxes, just like we collect the taxes for the school districts and the CCRB and DDRB and everybody else.
And they pay for that.
That's one.
And they pay for that.
Yeah, and they pay for that.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? All right, moving on, we have the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. Okay. Next up is resolution number 23-02.
Resolution number 23-02,
Claire,
sponsored.
we'll give these
Yep.
folks a chance to kind of clear, and then we can go from there.
He's letting them leave.
Okay, Claire, thank you.
Resolution 23-02, sponsored by council as a whole. A resolution recognizing the week beginning on September 11th, 2023 as Celebrate Community Week in St. Charles County. Whereas Celebrate Community is a week-long initiative to promote joint community service among members of Lions Club International, Rotary International, Kiwanis International, and Optimus International, and the purpose is to elevate the collective social impact of the organizations and promote a spirit of worldwide volunteer collaboration. And whereas from September 11th through September 17th, thousands of local area Kiwanis, Lions, Optimus, and Rotary clubs will take part in organized community service to address the needs of their communities during their third annual Celebrate Community initiative. And whereas Kiwanis clubs are organized to change children's lives by conducting service projects in their local communities focused on health and nutrition, education and literacy, and youth development. And whereas Kiwanis clubs conduct more than 152,000 service projects globally and raise nearly $133 million annually, and whereas Lions clubs are organized to encourage service-minded individuals to serve their communities without personal financial reward, and whereas since 1917, the 1,400,000 members of Lions Clubs International have strengthened local communities through hands-on service and humanitarian projects focused on the environment and addressing childhood cancer, hunger, diabetes, vision, and other pressing humanitarian needs presenting some of the biggest challenges facing humanity. And whereas Optimus International members have conducted 65,000 community service projects each year, spending $78 million in their communities and impacting over 6 million young people. And whereas Rotary International's 1,400,000 members believe they have a shared responsibility to take action on the world's most persistent issues with sustainable, community-based solutions. And whereas 46,000 Rotary clubs have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in countless volunteer hours to provide clean water and sanitation, support education, prevent and treat disease, save mothers and children, grow local economies, promote peace, protect the environment, and end polio worldwide. And whereas the Lions Club International, Rotary International, Kiwanis International, and Optimus International are asking the citizens of St. Charles County to step up and celebrate Community Week by volunteering to perform community service within their local area. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of St. Charles County, Missouri as follows. Section 1. The St. Charles County Council hereby strongly supports the recognition of Celebrate Community Week, which will be a positive force for the community and will create awareness of the many honorable organizations that help those in need in St. Charles County.
Okay. Questions or comments on this particular resolution? Okay. All right. Please call the roll.
Resolution number 2302. Just the time. Resolution 2302, a resolution recognizing the week beginning on September 11th, 2023 as Celebrate Community Week in St. Charles County. Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel? Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Okay. So the resolution is passed, and we wholly encourage the citizens of St. Charles to really get involved in not only, recognizing that particular week, but, almost every single day. There's many volunteer services out there that, and these organizations will welcome your membership. Is that correct?
By all means.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. Next is bills for final passage, beginning with bill number 5187.
Bill number 5187, requested by Ryan Graham, sponsored by Nancy Schneider. An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute the Intergovernmental Airport Improvement Program contract agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration and acceptance of grant funds.
Questions or comments on this particular bill? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5187, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute the Intergovernmental Airport Improvement Program contract agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration and acceptance of grant funds. Councilman Brazel. Councilman Elam.
Yes.
Councilman Hollander.
Yes.
Councilman Hammond.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Councilman Swanson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bill number 5187 passes. Next bill for final passage is bill number 5188.
Bill number 5188, sponsored by Terry Hollander, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget adopted by ordinance 22-087 by providing a supplemental appropriation to the budget of the St. Charles County Police Department.
Questions or comments on 5188? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5188, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget adopted by ordinance 22-087 by providing a supplemental appropriation to the budget of the St. Charles County Police Department. Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Okay, bill number 5188 passes. Next bill is number 5189.
Bill number 5189, sponsored by Terry Hollander, an ordinance authorizing the county executive or his designee to execute a memorandum of understanding between St. Charles County and the Missouri Department of Corrections for the administration and reading of tuberculosis skin tests and for the administration of specified vaccinations to department employees, volunteers, and interns.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5189, an ordinance authorizing the county executive or his designee to execute a memorandum of understanding between St. Charles County and the Missouri Department of Corrections for the administration and reading of tuberculosis skin tests and for the administration of specified vaccinations to department employees, volunteers, and interns. Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel? Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Okay, bill number 5189 passes, and the final bill for final passage is bill number 5190.
Bill number 5190, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept 2 grants from the Missouri Department of Natural Resources totaling $5,025 of financial assistance from the Federal Drinking Water State Revolving Fund capitalization grants for the St. Charles County Parks and Recreation Department to cap abandoned wells.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5190, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept 2 grants from the Missouri Department of Natural Resources totaling $5,025 of financial assistance from the Federal Drinking Water State Revolving Fund capitalization grants for the St. Charles County Parks and Recreation Department to cap abandoned wells. Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel? Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes. Bill 5190 passes. Now we move on to bills for introduction, beginning with 5192.
Bill number 5192, requested by Mike Hurlbert, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance amending the conditions of conditional use permit number 112 to allow for the replacement of an existing 102-foot telecommunications tower with a 156-foot tower to Wanda S. Couch in Ameren, Missouri.
Questions or comments on Bill 5192? Okay, seeing none, we move on to Bill 5193.
Bill number 5193, requested by Joe Brazel and Dave Hammond, sponsored by Joe Brazel and Dave Hammond, an ordinance extending the duration within which a conditional use permit must be in place in active use before it is considered null and void for all permits set to expire during the current 668-day extension period from the end of the declared emergency, August 31st, 2021, through August 31st, 2023.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, Mr. Hammond.
I'd like to make a motion to table this.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this particular bill is
Mr.
tabled.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I don't know if it's even in order anymore, but I was told there were going to be people here this evening to speak on this. Is there anybody?
Is there anyone here to speak on this particular bill?
Doesn't seem to be.
Fine.
Are you all here?
Okay.
That's right.
Go ahead, ma'am. Sure.
So I did prepare something to speak out about, or is it just you want me to answer questions? My name's Amy Menschlick. I'm the project manager for the general contractor for this project.
Okay. I guess if you could, just kind of fill us in on the number of, yes. County-
Mr. Chairman, I think what we're interested in is why, with what, 2 extensions, this isn't finished.
So the extension went to July 1st, is my understanding, is when the conditional use
Oh, that
permit would
was-
expire at
that
this
was the
time.
second one, wasn't it?
We're requesting.
That was the second extension.
Yeah.
So you got a year extension, and now you're asking for 2 more months.
Yeah.
But why should we believe that it's going to be done in 2 months if it hasn't been done in a
It
year?
is definitely under progress right now. What has happened is we have had some material delays that came up unexpectedly. Between material shortages, and we encountered some pore spoils that had to be excavated out that caused us a 4 to 5 week delay. And now we're getting notifications that we have materials that are coming in later than we were originally told and expected.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
if
yes,
I may.
Mr. Swanson.
Specifically, which project are you talking about? Because I do believe this bill was with multiple projects,
No.
not just one specific. So what specific project are you talking about?
This is the specific brewery building for Bush Brewing and Distilling,
In location?
4151 Benny Road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I guess, our concern is just simply the timeline. and the
Right,
fact
no,
that we-
I completely understand that. All the trades have been working diligently to try to get this done as quickly as we possibly could. It's just, unfortunately, it was unforeseen conditions with the pore spoils and now with some of the material delays. So most of the material delays are now expected to come in around mid-July, mid to late July. Just to be on the safe side, that's why we were requesting through August.
I would suggest that you send us some pictures of where you're at so we can see the building.
Oh, I
and-
absolutely can certainly do that.
Isn't there a motion to table this?
Yeah, we've already passed the motion to table it, but that's, and we'd still like that information, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, because I'm sure that this is something that, if it continues to come up, we're eventually going to have to make a decision one way or
Right.
the other here.
No,
But
understood.
When does it expire?
July 1st.
July 1st, okay. So if it's not even introduced until next time,
Yeah, we have to-
we're not going to be able to approve it, it's going to run out. Because we
Right.
can't approve it on the first reading.
Well, you can, I
We'd have to
I think you
extend it
can
again or
table it,
something.
but yeah, and you
Would
wouldn't
that-
have to. You wouldn't have to bring it off the table, but you could bring it off the table if you so.
Well, we couldn't approve
desired.
it, we just have to introduce it, don't we?
Yeah, you could.
So
First
would-
read tonight.
So would that stay then the expiration? Because it's set to expire, the cup is set to expire, isn't it?
Mike,
Mr. Hurlbert, give us
thank you, ma'am.
a clear picture.
Yeah, I thought the last extension was like for 6 months or something.
I believe it's been introduced tonight. It was first read.
Yes, it was read this
So
evening.
you've tabled it after the first introduction, so you can bring it off the table at the next meeting and still vote on it,
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
if you so choose.
Perfect.
And that would- okay.
Can I?
So that basically stays the expiration date.
No. The approval of the ordinance would.
Next time we.
Okay,
Yeah,
It
but
would- it
But we
will
can't-
expire on June 30th.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we don't even read it until the next meeting, which is June what?
26th.
But
26th.
Councilwoman,
you read the title,
Already
so
first
it's
read.
first read.
It's
Oh,
first
okay.
read.
This is, oh, okay, I didn't realize.
This is
Yeah,
first
and then it was tabled after it was first read.
Yeah, so to clarify the reading, the first reading was done. Then Mr. Hammond moved to table it, so it was tabled after the first reading. So we're
It
still,
was tabled after the first reading?
Correct.
Because it says
So-
on here it's a bill for introduction.
it is, so it was read, after it was read, Mr. Hammond moved to table it. So instead of coming up as a bill for final passage
I
on our
gotcha.
next agenda, it will show up as a tabled bill.
Oh, that's right, it was
So we
read.
could pull it
Okay,
off
I'm
the
sorry.
table if
I
we
gotcha.
so move. Thank you, Brian, for being here and keeping us online. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So it would do. I do have a point of clarification, though, that I was curious about this. So if I'm reading this correctly, are we extending all open CUPs over this permit or over this time frame, or just their particular project? Because if I'm hearing this correctly, anything that's still pending, if we pass this, we're extending all. Is that correct?
Everything that was up on June 30th, and there are multiples, as I understand it, would be extended through August 31st.
But I'm just trying to make sure that I understand, and it's been a long day for me, so speak slowly. I appreciate the patience. So things that are pending that could have absolutely nothing to do with their project, if we pass this the way it's currently crafted, we would extend those as well. Is that correct?
So there are 3 CUPs. 3 CUPs that were extended by the previous extension. This project is one. There's one in Orchard Farm, and there's one at Highway F. The Highway F project has told us they're not going to proceed any further. So that's going to die. The Orchard Farm has asked for potential extension as well.
Okay.
So there are 2 projects that this would potentially extend. 3 technically, but the one is.
So sorry, I'm still trying to clarify.
Go ahead.
So would there be a problem with us amending this and just calling out those particular 2 CUPs? Do we have to just make it a blanket statement, or does it really matter?
It really doesn't matter, because there's only 2 CUPs that would apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because it seemed like it was blanket, and I'm like, hang on. Are there more things that we could possibly be extending for no apparent reason? So, especially those,
Yeah.
sorry, thanks, Nancy.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to point out that what Mike said, the lady from the Orchard Farm, when she contacted me this afternoon, and so then I spoke with council and with Robert about that, and I told her that this may not happen today, that it was going to be tabled, and that she still has some time to do that. So she, I think, is going to be asking for an extension as well for their project, which is, I think it's certainly a different kind of project than the Bush project. I think it's for a storage lot or something. So, so I know there is at least that one other person. Okay.
All right, so that clarifies, we've tabled, yes, County Executive.
Inquire of Mike
Sure.
first. So the Orchard Farm one, is this the first extension, or is it the third for them as well?
They were part of the original extensions. They didn't ask for it, but the ordinance they were within that time
Okay, so
frame.
both are on the same time?
Correct.
Time scale.
Yep.
And then a question for the lady there. You got something that didn't show up, I forget what you said it was, because it was delayed and
Yes,
not
certain
delivered.
construction materials, yes.
Is everything else been done except that?
Yeah, we're well underway. The brewing equipment is all in there and connected. Water will be into the building this week. We are done with the painting, so it's now just getting those final touches done.
So it's-
The delays that we've had have been doors, our cabinetry. Everyone's backed up.
So you're
We've been
ready
in
to
the
go
queue.
except for that one thing?
I'm sorry?
Except for that one thing, you're ready to open?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's about a handful of materials that got pushed back. But yeah, that's it. I mean, everything else is moving along.
Can you agree to open 10 days after you get that last piece of?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr.
That's one
Swanson.
reason why I was asking which this was specifically towards, because I was informed that there's multiple applications for this. With that being said, when you're looking at a third extension, I think when we bring this back, we bring it off the table, we need to have clear expectations of deadlines, because everybody else is opening businesses. We have them all out in District 1, they're opening up with no issues, and to use COVID as an excuse, I don't buy. So that's just my point of view.
All right, so this issue has been tabled, and like I say, there's a very strong possibility that at our next meeting, we will bring it off the table and make a final decision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up is the bill number, for introduction, bill number 5194.
Bill number 5194, requested by Tracy Bain, sponsored by Terry Hollander, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget adopted as ordinance 22-087 by transferring unencumbered appropriations between line items in the Circuit Court Capital Projects Fund.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, we move on to Bill number 5195 for introduction.
Bill number 5195, requested by Joseph McCullough, sponsored by Terry Hollander, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget adopted by Ordinance 22-087, relating to the Office of Prosecuting Attorney by deleting 1, Attorney 4, and adding a position of First Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, and amending Chapter 115 of the Ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, relating to the basic pay plan by placing the charter-established position of First Assistant Prosecuting Attorney in the pay plan.
Okay, questions, comments?
Mr. McCullough is
Mr.
here. I was
McCullough is here.
wondering if you wanted to speak about
Would
that.
you like to come up and just give us a quick summary of what you're asking for?
Yes, this is just a reclassification so that I can, presently we have an attorney 4 position, which would be under the merit system. I'm asking that to be reclassified to a first assistant so that I can have, for lack of a better description, a right-hand person to assist with personnel, to assist with the budget, to assist with office policy, county policy, Supreme Court rulings that come down and stuff like that, so that we will have a structure in the office where it'll be obvious that they're the second in charge in case of my absence or in case of some problems that need to be resolved.
Okay. Questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And last of all, the last bill for introduction is Bill number 5196.
Bill number 5196, requested by Joe Brazel and Mike Elam, sponsored by Joe Brazel and Mike Elam, an ordinance waiving certain fees for recycling and building permits for the Numelli Fire Protection District to assist the fire department with the construction of the Numelli Fire District Station Number 1 to be located at 45 Forestell Road.
Okay, questions or comments on 5196? Okay, seeing none, that concludes the bills for introduction. Announcements, miscellaneous. Anyone on the council? Mr. Baker?
Yeah, I want to make an announcement. I know we have, the police officers get a lot of criticism lately, but we had 2 police officers approach a suicidal man on Highway, I think it was 79, Officer Angelo Marino and Mikhail Clark, and they came upon and they talked him down. So I just want to thank Officer Frizz for the great training you give your guys, or whatever you've done to have such a fine police force that we're proud of. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Swanson.
Very quickly, June 14th is Flag Day. If you haven't looked on social media, we are collecting flags here in St. Charles County. So if you have a flag that's deteriorated, it's just worn out, please give it to us so we can retire it appropriately. You can reach out to me personally, or I think any of their councilmen will come pick it up or meet with you to make sure it's done properly. Thank you.
Any other comments? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.